Hey everybody, this is Dante Fain-Suzy and I'm here with
Josh Sanchez.
And we're here ready to make another Swoop radio edition for our podcast. What a crazy week in sports. Everybody has been talking about this. The Patriots pulling off an incredible comeback to beat the Falcons in overtime in Super Bowl 51.
The greatest comeback in NFL history and Super Bowl history.
I think this is the greatest game to ever be played that I have watched. Hands down, the greatest game I've ever watched in my life.
Yeah, because it went in overtime, first Super Bowl game ever to go in overtime, and the way it did, it's just mind-boggling. Like Matt Ryan was saying a couple days ago, like he's still in shock of what happened. Everybody was in shock of what happened. Even I was in shock, and I'm not even a Falcons fan. But literally everything I said in the previous podcast for the Falcons to win the game, the Falcons did. They made Tom Brady throw an interception, return it back to the house. Like I said would happen. They were able to pressure Tom Brady. Their defense just ran out of gas, and their offense was just being way too aggressive when they had the lead, and it ended up hurting them. And this is by far the greatest Super Bowl of all time. The greatest comeback before this 25-point comeback was the Patriots in Seattle. It was only 10 points.
Right. Now, like I said, when we went live on DJ DNA's radio, that I wasn't looking to no matchups. I just knew Tom Brady's just the GOAT. That's all I could put it. He's the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? Came back from down 25, scored that touchdown in the third quarter to go into the fourth. They mixed the extra point. They're down 16. 19. My apologies. It was 19. Yeah. And it was just an incredible comeback by the GOAT. I was amazed and shocked. So I didn't expect this. After the Falcons scored that touchdown to go 28-3 to boost their lead up to 28-3, I thought it was done for the Patriots. I thought the Patriots were done. I thought they had no more left in them. The whole game, the Patriots had, the momentum. I mean, not the Falcons
yes,
had the momentum. They had everything going their way. But like I told you, Tom Brady's experience was going to lead them back, and that's exactly what happened.
I'll give Tom Brady the credit in the world because he's the reason why they're Super Bowl champions. But Atlanta's defense was just out of gas. They were on the field for over 100 plays. The time of possession was, I believe, 45 minutes for the New England Patriots to just 25 for the Falcons. And, we saw what happened with Alabama and Clemson, too. Alabama had all those grown men, but Clemson
But what did I tell you,
just took the time
Tom
of
Brady
possession.
has that experience. He knew what was going to weigh down that defense, and he knew what was going to, what was really going to batter them out. And I get time of possession was what battered them out. Time of possession killed that defense. As you can tell, besides the last 2 minutes of the game, he was really wearing down that defense.
The first three quarters, it looked, even on their first touchdown drive, it took 7 minutes for New England to score. Atlanta just kept coming, sack, put Brady back, and then Brady was able to overcome that. But I thought he scored that first touchdown. I was like, all right, now Atlanta recovers that onside kick, and there's a penalty, a 5-yard penalty added on to where they recovered. So Atlanta's in field goal range. They have a chance to take some time off the clock and ice this game, and for some reason their offense just can't get it done.
Let me tell you what happened. Matt Ryan's lack of experience in the Super Bowl and Dan Quinn, his lack of experience in the Super Bowl was being a head coach, because we all know when he was with the Seahawks as a defensive coordinator, they went to the Super Bowl, I think it was twice.
Twice, yes.
Okay. But, that lack of experience there, when you have the ball in that situation, one, you drain the clock. Two, I don't know why you're passing the ball. There's no reason for you to be passing the ball. Okay, I understand you got that, there was a 22-yard completion with Julio Jones.
Well, that was later in the game. I'm talking about they were in field goal range not once but twice. And the reason why they were in field goal range is because of Julio Jones.
That's where you drain the clock at.
Yeah.
You constantly run the football.
It's football 101. It's football 101. They were able to do it against Seattle. They were able to do it against the Packers. And, I don't know what changed. You think it's a lack of experience. I just think it's stupidity. I'm putting the full blame on Dan Quinn and Kyle Shanahan in this game. And then Matt Ryan for taking the sacks. He should have threw the ball away. But at the same time, they're calling plays. They're calling a 7-step drop back when you're at the 22-yard line. It's football 101. Like, when you're up by 25 points, you have a big lead, you run the football. And they were able to do it. I watched their games. They did it against the Packers, and they did it against Seattle because the Packers, they scored 2 touchdowns in the second half, but Atlanta was able to run the ball, take the time off the clock. But for some reason, I mean, I just think it's Pats being Pats and everything. It's just they're the one team that I don't know. They just seem to have it.
The Falcons had that game.
The Falcons did have the game.
After looking at the stats and, doing statistical research myself, Devontae Freeman had 13 carries for 121 yards.
That's why I'm saying it's stupidity.
Why are you not still giving that man the ball?
Yeah, that's why.
Because it was obviously showing that you can't stop him.
It's clearly stupidity because you're able to run the ball all game. Coleman did get hurt, but at the same time, Freeman had that big 33-yard carry to start the game. He's shown some bursts. Like, the Patriots are going to stop him every once in a while on a run, but as we've seen throughout the game, you're able to run the ball effectively. I don't know why you abandon that. When you're in field goal range, all you need is a field goal and this game's over. Like, Tom Brady can come back all he wants. You're just going to run out of time. Because when Tom Brady scored that last touchdown, there was 57 seconds on the clock. And a field goal, you would have won by 3 points. All you got to do is recover the onside kick. And I just think, I mean, you could say lack of experience, but I'm just saying plain stupidity out of Dan Quinn and them. Because if it was lack of experience, it would have been back and forth, and then Atlanta would have had the ball, or the Patriots would have had the ball to end the game.
All right, so let me ask you a question.
And then that would have happened.
Where do you get back and forth from if the Falcons were up 25 points already?
They're up 25 points, and if any regular coach, even the Cleveland Browns head coach, knows you're supposed to run the ball. It's 3rd down and 1 on that sack fumble. It's 3rd down and 1. You have Devontae Freeman. He just carried the ball for 9 yards to get you into 3rd down and 1. Why are you running it? Why are you getting a 7-step back? 7 drop back. 7-step drop back. My bad. Why are you dropping back 7 steps? And then Devontae Freeman, he was he didn't block Hightower, but
he was on la la line. He wasn't paying attention.
He wasn't paying attention. But yeah, it's just like football 101. That fumble caused Brady to score a quick touchdown, and then now here we go again with the comeback. And just little things like that. I mean, I'm going to give the Patriots all the credit in the world because it took every single ounce of energy from Tom Brady, because it was crazy, because when it was 28-12, the Falcons had a 99.6 chance to win, according to ESPN's that matchup predictor thing.
One percentage.
99.6% chance of winning. But hey, when you have to go,
that's why you can't go against Tom Brady, and that's why I didn't go against him.
I mean, for most of the game, a lot of people that went against him were right, but it just turned out stupidity by the coaches and lack of play calling cost Atlanta a Super Bowl. And
lack of experience play calling in the Super Bowl. The biggest game of the year is the Super Bowl game. It doesn't matter if you're first game of the season or Super Bowl. There's a really big difference. It doesn't even matter if you're playing to get to the Super Bowl. There's no game bigger than the Super Bowl. So really, you have to go all out in this. Like, I'm not gonna say all out, but like you say, football 101 really has to come into play.
Yeah, it's
you
stupidity.
never experiencing the Super Bowl is what really carried Brady, what carried Belichick.
Because Atlanta's defense was proving something. They sacked Brady 7 times. They hit Brady like about 20, 25 times. So the defense did their job. I mean, when you're on the field for over 100 plays, we saw it with Alabama. And Alabama, and I even played from a personal standpoint. I've been in games where my offense has not done crap, and I'm on my same matchup, chasing them around all game, all day, all game, stopping the run, physicality, everything.
Okay,
my fault. You get tired.
You keep referring to Atlanta's defense, but are you gonna give the Patriots defense any props?
Oh yeah. I'll give them.
Because if you look at it, they held the #1 offensive team in the league to 14 points.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
14. They scored 28, but really watching the game, and if you really understand the game, they only let up 14 points.
Yeah, I know,
Okay?
which was
The
very
one
impressive.
touchdown came off the 82-yard interception.
Yeah.
I remember LeGarrette Blount fumbled the ball like on what was it? Atlanta's.
No. It was actually 21 points because LeGarrette Blount, they're in field goal range. New England's about to kick a field goal. Blunt fumbles, and then they drive across the field and score. Because Atlanta their offense showed flashes of dominance, but it wasn't consistent. And that's what New England did very well. And I will give their defense credit for stopping it, but I just think it's just lack of play calling that hurt them. And Atlanta had a perfect game plan to stop New England's offense. They just ran out of gas. And you can't give Tom Brady, the GOAT, so many opportunities to score. He will come back and he will beat you. And that's what happened. You can't give the greatest football player of all time more opportunities to score. But that's pretty much all I had to say about the game. I've had a couple days to think about it, relax about it. And I mean, if they kick that field goal and it's 31 to 20, Julio Jones' catch will be the memorable catch of the Super Bowl. But since they sacked and got out of it and choked, and New England's defense did put pressure and they did force that holding call, which I respect. Their defense did. I will give them their props on that one.
Then we talk about the Edelman catch in the second half. Their defense absolutely stepped up in the second half.
Yes, it did. Because Atlanta's in field goal range not once but twice to ice the game, and your defense finds a way to get them out of field goal range. That's very impressive. Now,
So,
do you want to move
You
on?
asked
Or?
me. No, we're gonna stick with Tom Brady. You came up with this conversational topic about where is Tom Brady placed amongst all the greats in all sports?
I mean, he's in the room for discussion. Like, I'll put him up with the MJs and the Muhammad Ali and Wayne Gretzky and all those great guys. But I wouldn't put him ahead of Jordan. I mean,
Why not?
Jordan went 6 for 6, 5 MVPs. Like, I don't even know how many scoring champs. He won so many. And Tom Brady's, I mean, to be put in that discussion, I mean, he's the greatest football player of all time, in my opinion. I'll put him ahead of Jerry Rice, even though a lot of people are going to be like, no, that's crazy.
I think you can't make that comparison because they're two different positions.
Yeah, they're two different positions, but like by overall competitiveness and just will to win, Brady just has that it factor that only the other, like Michael Jordan and Wayne Gretzky and Muhammad Ali have.
Now, so you putting him in the room?
Yeah, I'm putting him in the room, but not the top. I won't put him ahead of Jordan.
No, you won't put him ahead of Jordan or none of them?
Nah. Because Wayne Gretzky, I'm not even a hockey fan, but I was listening to everyone that had his argument. The man scored so many points in a season, like it was crazy. Like he almost had like 300 points in a season, which is crazy because there's only 82 games, and for hockey it's so hard to score and assists and stuff like that. And he did it consistently for like 10 to 15 seasons. He has the all-time records for everything, and for hockey, like goals, assists, points, and no one else is even close to him. That's how great he is. I just never really got a chance to watch him, see him with Michael Jordan and stuff like that. But I'm going to give our past people their props.
Right.
How about
in
you?
my opinion, every athlete you just named, besides one athlete, I think Tom Brady's above. The only one athlete that that you put with all the greats. The reason why I can't put him above this great is because Muhammad Ali was a cultural movement.
Yeah.
He's done a lot of things for this world, and before he passed away, and like I just said, he was a cultural movement. This man was pretty much the face of a culture, and he had to go out there and earn his respect. Now, I'm putting Brady above Jordan, above Gretzky, above any great that you want. The reasons why I'm going with Tom Brady above all of them is because Tom Brady has to deal with the most. He was put in the worst circumstances that you could put any of those players in. And not to only mention, when Jordan won his rings, and with Tom Brady is obviously, the Patriots are, I'm in some eyes, the greatest, not the greatest, but the best team in the NFL year by year.
And I have another question.
And so, hold on, but so did Jordan. When Jordan had that three-peat, he was the best team in the NBA. But I think what sets Jordan back from Brady was that Jordan had his superstars with him. He'd had those complementary, good role players that if they went to other teams, they'll be all-stars. Now, with Tom Brady, what I think makes him so different was because when the year that they beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl, they got claimed for cheating. Watching the Eagles plays. Yep. Okay, cool. Deflategate went on for about almost a year and a half,
which was a waste of everyone's time. I feel like they used the Deflategate just to give just to piss off the Patriots or something. That was so pointless. Okay. But yeah.
He had to go through. I honestly think Tom Brady went through the most amount of setbacks any of these greats have faced. And what I think Tom Brady did with this Super Bowl and this year places him above all of those athletes except for Muhammad Ali. Tom Brady was suspended the first 4 games of the year. Came back, won a Super Bowl. Won a Super Bowl with about mediocre receivers besides Julian Edelman. Remember, he didn't have any Gronkowski. LeGarrette Blount got shut down. All he really had was Edelman. Chris Hogan, come on now. All right. If you put, now, when I see mediocre receivers, I mean just as bad as the Eagles receivers.
But it comes to Bill Belichick, though, which he has the greatest coach. And Michael had the greatest coach.
Tom Brady made Malcolm Mitchell look like a 7-year vet. He made Chris Hogan look like one of the top receivers in the league. Mind you, he didn't have his best receiver. Honestly, the Patriots haven't had a superstar receiver since Randy Moss. So that's what sets Tom Brady apart from every other great athlete in this world that has come and went. That's all I have to say. Tom Brady is ranked number 2 and topic of conversation of greatest athletes of all time.
And that's why we love sports, because you have different opinions. Now, here's a question that I just thought about. Speaking of the Patriots and how they've had success over a long year run, which do you think is more impressive? The Spurs' excellence consistently, because I saw this stat about the Spurs last night when I was watching the Sixers game on TV. They have had the most consecutive seasons with a winning percentage over 600 ever by any franchise on any team consecutively, even the Patriots. Or would you take the Patriots? Because they each have 5 rings now.
Right.
But the Spurs have continue excellence, and now that Tim Duncan's gone, Kawhi Leonard's right there. So I don't even know how much longer the Spurs are going to continue to continue dominating in the NBA.
So your question is, which team would I go with?
Yeah, out of those two, and it's a good debate, because a lot of people are going to say Patriots. It's 2 different sports. But the Patriots, they continue to find guys like undrafted talent because they don't really draft high. Same with the Spurs. The Spurs do the same thing too. They literally do the same exact thing, because now we're in an era where both teams are free agency so hot and people like to move. Whereas you see the Spurs, you have the same consistency throughout. New guys come out, new guys come in. Same with the Patriots. New guys come out, new guys come in. I just want to know, which one would you pick, the Patriots or the Spurs?
Oh,
it's very tough question.
Okay, so we're going with consistency, winning percentage. Is that another one?
Yeah, the Spurs have the record for the most. The 49ers are second when they had Joe Montana in their long run and Steve Young. So it goes Spurs, 49ers, and then I don't know who else, but it's impressive. I was just shocked.
I'm going with the Spurs. Because before Greg Popovich got there and before Tim Duncan got there, they had David Robinson and his level of greatness. We all know, is David Robinson even in the NBA Hall of Fame?
He should be.
I'm pretty sure he is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is too.
So, I mean, when Tim Duncan got there and Coach Pop and all of them, I believe that they were already a good team. And they just hit the lottery or the jackpot, whichever one you want to call it, with Tim Duncan. And they've done the same thing with this when they got Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker and formed that big three. And we're not also discussing what's his name? She was a shooting guard. I can't even think of his name right now, but I'm gonna search him up in a minute. They just consistently find players, mediocre players, that play to the level of great role players.
Yes.
And they go to different teams, superstar talent or all-star talent. Now with the Patriots, it's the same thing, but the Patriots really, I mean, who were they before Tom Brady got there and Bill Belichick? Who was their starting quarterback?
They had Drew Bledsoe, and he did lead them to a Super Bowl before.
Right.
But that's a terrific story about Tom Brady. Like he started over a Super Bowl quarterback that went to a quarterback that went to the Super Bowl. My fault. But yeah, that's just a question I was just thinking about. I'm gonna roll with the Spurs only because the consistency they have had. The Patriots, they have had consistency, but they've had a couple scandals and they've had stuff like that. Where the Spurs, the Spurs, they've done it all clean and I'm seeing what they're doing now without Tim Duncan. I don't know how to we saw.
That's another thing I wanted to point out was that, I think it's an arguable conversation between who's the greatest player to ever play for San Antonio, between David Robinson and Tim Duncan.
It's Tim Duncan.
I mean, listen, it's an argumental conversation.
It is.
But we all know with New England who was the greatest player to ever walk through that franchise and who is going to be the greatest player to ever play for that franchise. And, we could even throw Kawhi Leonard into that conversation with the Spurs. So, with that being said, the reason why I take San Antonio is because San Antonio, looking at the roster before Tim Duncan was there or when he first got there, this roster is not a bad roster. You have Malik Rose, Steve Kerr, Avery Johnson, Tim Duncan, Antonio Daniels, and David Robinson.
Wow.
So really, that level of greatness continued throughout.
Yes, it did.
The same way the Patriots did. As soon as Brady and Belichick became a tandem, their level of greatness continued, and it still looks like it's going to continue. Same way with the Patriots. But it's just some odd reason I like the Spurs over the Patriots and that level of greatness.
Anything else you want to talk about, with Patriots and stuff like that? Because one more thing, maybe we can talk about this in the future, Kobe's legacy and Tom Brady's legacy, I think, are the exact same. Both have 5. Kobe and Brady.
And Brady?
Both have 5 rings. Both went to 7 championships. Brady has one more MVP than Kobe, but Kobe got rigged of it. But Kobe has more All-Star appearances.
But see, that's where that stuff right there. I don't go with the statistics, because the statistics are always gonna be there, and whoever wants to go with the statistics, the stats and the numbers aren't gonna lie. So if you want to go by the numbers, that's the easiest conversation ever. But me, I'm going outside of that. I'm gonna go with who did they have, what obstacles were they faced with, and this, that, and the third. But see, with Tom, I don't think, besides Muhammad Ali, I don't think there's no other athlete better than Tom Brady. Because Tom Brady was put through so much, and he still continues to go through so much. And with the way social media is now, social media is quick to break down a person. The press and, the press and the media, take away social media, I'm saying the press, the media, news conferences and stuff like that, they're made to break you down. Tom Brady, Roger Goodell, in my eyes, tried to break down Tom Brady, but you just can't break him down. And Kobe, yeah, he's arguably, one of the best basketball players to ever play in the NBA. Not taking nothing away from him. But as we seen throughout the end of his career, he was injured. He couldn't really do much. Game limited and all of that. Brady, as he continues to get older and push up to the 40s, is only playing better, getting better, and still winning Super Bowls. I believe the Patriots are already the front runners for Super Bowl 52. And we're just a couple days removed. We're just a couple days after Super Bowl 51. So that just shows you the greatness of Tom Brady.
Feel free to whoever's listening to this, feel free to comment. Who do you think? I'm just throwing some ideas out there to get the sport debate talking about. But now we're gonna move on.
I think we should stick with football first.
Are you stick with football?
I think we should stick with football
before we move on. Okay.
Yeah. Recently, I think it was yesterday, the Eagles released cornerback Leotis McKelvin,
which I find a great move.
I think it was a pretty good move. To one, it was to, our cornerbacks are horrible. Two, it frees up cap space for us. In free agent, I think the Eagles are gonna make pretty solid moves in free agency. We have about I want to say 10 million, 13 million, something like that, cap space now.
Yeah, and we're telling Jason Peters to take a pay cut for some
I think that's
reason.
an insult.
I think that's an insult too, because we've been in situations like that where we've had Reggie.
Hold on. Breaking news: the Sixers just beat the Magic 112-111.
Yeah, T.J. McConnell hit the game winner again.
Okay,
Another
I
one.
see you, McConnell. But back to the Eagles topic.
But we've seen we've had all time greats here in Philly that have been like all timers, and we let them walk. We let Brian Dawkins walk. We let Reggie White walk, and now we're telling Peters to have a pay cut. The Minnesota Vikings are probably going knocking on his door saying, "Look, we'll give you a max contract if you come here." Because
I really can't see them giving him a max contract.
Well, I know
because of his age.
I know, but just I was just saying as an over exaggeration, because the Vikings, they need linemen bad, and he would be a great fit there, just for a couple 1 or 2 years, get Bridgewater back, get things back to normal for the Vikings. But free agency, you want to talk about what do you think the Eagles are going to do? Because we have interesting candidates.
I'm just thinking of a couple players that the Eagles can possibly sign in free agency that can shape us up to our plan in the draft. I think with the releasing of Leotis McKelvin,
we're going to draft.
Pretty much states which way we're going to go in the draft. We
need to go young.
And free agency?
Well, we need to go young in the draft for corner, because we have seen recently Nnamdi Asomugha, Dominique Rodgers.
It's just this simple. The players that the Eagles have tried to sign in free agency that are a cornerback position,
Byron Maxwell,
has not worked out very well. And the last player that we drafted the last cornerback we drafted was Lito Shepherd, and we all know how that went.
In the first round, yeah.
We all know exactly how that went.
And we let Eric Rowe walk, and now he's on a he just won a ring.
He doesn't even really care right now.
I know, but
he listen, he's laughing at us.
Which
he
should be. He should be. Because he was a good again, I'm really mad that we need to go young with cornerback. We need to stop trying to sign cornerbacks because it's not been working. Just Byron Maxwell, everyone, it's not been working. Every time we get a free agent hit on cornerback, it does not work. So I agree with you, Dante. We need to go young with corner. We already have Mills on one side, 7th round pick. And if we had Eric Rowe,
or what's
he would have
another
been
thing?
A year ahead of schedule instead of a year behind schedule.
What's another thing I can honestly see the Eagles doing? Our first round pick would be Dalvin Cook. I can honestly see that happening.
He's a good running back.
Running back out of Florida State. And the Eagles signing, Kenny Stills or any receiver that, is pretty much better than our receiver right now. And signing a free agent. The cornerback from Houston Texans.
Yeah.
I wrote his name down. Just give me a second.
I know. I hope he turns out well, but I don't really trust whenever we sign a cornerback.
AJ Bowie or Bowie. I don't know how to really say his last name. But he's a free agent cornerback. He's 25 years old. He stepped up and played very well for the Texans over the season. That's one way the Eagles can go. But like I said, the last about 4 or 5 years we've tried to sign free agent cornerbacks, has not worked out for us.
It has not.
Even the ones that we've traded for has not worked out for us. So I believe, the Eagles, there's different, ways they can go. Or what I can possibly see the Eagles doing is signing a running back in free agency. Now, running back, I would keep on the lookout. There's about 2 running backs that I would keep on the lookout that'll fit perfectly well for the Eagles. Is one, Latavius Murray from the Raiders. He's a downhill running back. He could fit well in our West Coast offense. And 2, Eddie Lacy. Eddie Lacy's currently a free agent. He's another, free agent running back. I believe.
He needs to lose some weight, though.
He lost the weight. It was just an unfortunate situation this year that he got hurt. I believe we go there. There's many.
We'll at least attempt.
Listen, there's many different ways the Eagles can go with everything. 2 wide receivers that I would keep on the lookout. And a third one, there was a third one because I read a report earlier. The 3 wide receivers that we can keep on the lookout are Deshaun Jackson and Kenny Stills, and the third receiver is Pierre Garçon.
Which is not too bad. We need a veteran leader because we're in a draft of wide receivers probably later in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care where our receivers go because we've seen Antonio Brown out of the 6th round, Chris Hogan undrafted. We've seen these guys come out of nowhere and explode. As long as they have speed and athletic ability, and as well as some size, we just need something better than what we have now, in my opinion. Do you want to talk about the Eagles anymore, or do you want to move on to our next topic?
I believe that the Eagles. There's a couple ways the Eagles can go in a free agency. And including the draft. They can go. I think the kid from that we talked about last time from Eastern Washington University, Cooper Kupp.
Yep.
I think he'll fall down to the 2nd round. And we could probably if we want to, if the Eagles really want to help out Carson Wentz, and go 1st round Dalvin Cook and then 2nd round Cooper Kupp, or they can take if Mike Williams just so happens to fall to us, could take Mike Williams or the wide receiver from. Oh man, what the heck is his name? Anyway, just it'll eventually hit me. But we can go Cooper Kupp in the 2nd round, Dalvin Cook 1st round, depending on how free agency goes. That's all I gotta say about that.
Yeah, you can pretty much just. There's a lot of ways you can go here, but me, I'm sticking to cornerback 1st round. We need to go young with corner. I'm tired of us getting free agents that turn out to be busts, and that's why we're behind everything. I want to move on to the Washington Wizards because what they're doing in D.C. is special. They are their 17-game home win streak did come to an end to the Cleveland Cavaliers, 140-135 in overtime. It took a LeBron James fadeaway 3-pointer off the glass to send the game into overtime. And usually when you get LeBron to fade away from 3, he's not making it. But LeBron James is one of the greatest players of all time.
Off the backboard, he hit it.
Off the backboard, he called bank.
Now, you want to talk about the Wizards? I believe the Wizards are one of the most underrated teams in the league. I think they have one of the best backcourts in the league to go along with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. I think they have the 3rd best backcourt tandem in the league behind Steph Curry and Klay Thompson.
Yeah, they're
number one. 2 would be the Portland Trail Blazers with Damian Lillard and
McCollum.
CJ McCollum. Sorry.
You can go either way with them.
I just like them better. I like CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard better together. And 3rd in the league, I will put Bradley Beal with John Wall. But I think the Wizards are just a piece of way from getting there to that, that championship run. Now, I don't think the Wizards are a bad team. I think they're a really good team in place together. They just need that one piece. And I think they should make a blockbuster trade for DeMarcus Cousins. If DeMarcus, because we all seen John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins play together at Kentucky.
Yeah.
So they already have that chemistry together. They've played together. They know each other well. And even in the summertime, they've talked about it, playing together. Because who will go where, though, is the question.
Because Marcin Gortat, I mean, he's a good center, but compared to the DeMarcus Cousins, that's a huge upgrade.
Right.
And I'm going to just throw some stats here. John Wall has the most double-doubles out of all the guards, both in the Eastern and Western Conference. The man's a walking double-double. He's averaging over 20 points, 10 assists. He's the only player, and I think he's top 5 in steals, or maybe one of the top in steals. I know that. So he's the only player in the NBA that has over 2 steals, 10 assists, and 20 points. So the man, and he definitely deserves to be in the MVP conversation, definitely in the top 5, because the Wizards, they're in 3rd place in Eastern Conference, 31 and 21.
He'll probably be in the MVP talks, but I don't think he'll get it.
No, he's not going to get it, because James Harden right now has, unless the Houston Rockets
we all
start
know
losing,
who the top 4 players in the league are.
Yeah, but you
4
got to put Wall in that discussion though.
Probably top 10.
Not top 5.
I don't. Listen, I think the top 4 players. I'm gonna give you the top 5 players in the league who are gonna be MVP talks. It's gonna be Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, and Klay Thompson. I mean James Harden.
I was about to say Klay Thompson. I was like,
did I put Russell Westbrook in there?
Oh, you forgot Russell Westbrook too.
Damn.
So that's your 5. That's your 5.
That's my top 6 right there. Not in order.
Just around there.
Yeah, I think those are just. I think if you want to go top 6 in order, it'll be Harden, Westbrook, Curry, LeBron, Klay, Kyrie.
Klay.
Yeah.
I would put Wall ahead of Kyrie and Klay, only because Kyrie has, like, LeBron is the MVP. Kyrie, like, I have a lot of respect for Kyrie. He is one of the clutchest players in the NBA, but what I've seen from John Wall is the leader of the Wizards, whereas in the Cavaliers, LeBron's the leader.
Mm-hmm.
So I would put John Wall ahead of Kyrie and Klay, and I would put him ahead of Steph too, because Steph is with KD and all the other superstars. So John Wall's not going to win MVP, but he should be in that discussion. He deserves to be in that discussion.
I'm not going to say that he doesn't deserve it, because he's one of the best point guards in this league, but I just don't think he's worth top 5 discussion. I would think he's worth top 10.
And the last thing I'll say about the Wizards is I will give them credit for signing Scott Brooks, because he did a great job in OKC with developing Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. He turned them from being used to losing in the first 2 seasons to being legit superstars. And
I think it's going to be like that for any up-and-coming superstar. You have to do. When you come out,
you see the DeMarcus Cousins situation though, where like he's had so many different coaches and no one can tame him. But he has all the talent in the world.
He does have all that talent in the world, but it's just like his attitude and the way he goes about. I think it's just his posture, his attitude, I don't think he's a bad person. You know what I'm saying? But I just think there's something about DeMarcus Cousins that coaches tend to fear, or they just don't want to coach him. Or as you can tell, he has all these problems with the head coach. So I don't know what it is with DeMarcus Cousins. Maybe I think he feels as though, I don't know. I don't know what it is with DeMarcus Cousins.
I know.
Now,
but
I think he's a superstar player, but I just think him and Sacramento aren't going to be good with each other. I think he should go to the Wizards. The Wizards, you could trade Gortat for Cousins, but obviously, the Kings would get much more in return.
You're gonna give up your first round pick too. Have to.
Oh no, that's what I was trying to get to. Like, the main trade you're really giving, Gortat
somehow, some way you got to make a
handload of draft picks, and the Cousins and maybe Matt Barnes will go to the Wizards.
Yeah, I know, but you're just. Hopefully that trade will happen, but I want to get back to Scott Brooks, and I'm going to give him some credit, because before he came in, John Wall and Beal, they did have some playoff runs, but they were coming off of back-to-back seasons of not making the playoffs, disappointing seasons. And then Scott Brooks comes in with developing Kevin Durant and Westbrook, and now he's doing the same with Wall and Beal. They had a bad start, had to get used to the offense and how he runs his team, and now they're clicking. They just had one of the longest winning streaks in history of all Washington sports at home. And they've won 17 straight, and then they lost to the Cavs, unfortunately. But it took every ounce of energy for LeBron and Kyrie to beat the Wizards.
Kevin Love.
Yeah, and Kevin Love, because he had 39 points in that game. And again, like Scott Brooks, he's definitely should be in the conversation for Coach of the Year if the Wizards continue to be successful, because sometimes what happens with teams is they peak too early, and then later in the season, they start to cool off. I hope this doesn't happen to the Wizards, because I'm tired of seeing the same people every year. I'm always down for a change. I'm always up for the underdog pulling the upset. And I hope the Wizards can do it, but I agree with you. I feel like they're a piece away from beating the Cavs. But they'll give the Cavs a good run, maybe win like 1 or 2 games, but it'll be too much LeBron James and Kyrie at the end.
Mm-hmm.
The Cavs just have too much firepower.
Right.
Anything else you want to talk about basketball? Or
Yeah. I want to talk about Nerlens Noel and how much of a bum I think he is.
Oh, man. Oh,
So
man.
last night I went to the Sixers game. It was the Sixers versus the Spurs. And Nerlens Noel gets, how can I say it? Little Boyd by Joel Anthony. Joel Anthony, bro. The man's...
Wait, he didn't win the jump ball or something?
He didn't get the rebound, a free throw. Okay? I can't remember who shot the free throw. Okay, so the Sixers fouled the Spurs. They're at I can't remember the player it was. He's at the line. He makes the first free throw. Misses the second free throw. And Joel Anthony just beats Nerlens Noel. And, they both end up coming down with the ball. But Joel Anthony just takes it away from him. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
I get what you're saying,
Okay.
But
That's the defensive presence you want
you're.
for Nerlens Noel to get Little Boyd by Joel Anthony?
I mean, I see Jahlil Okafor get Little Boyd every single game. Just this Magic game before I'm coming here.
But we all know the difference between these two players, though. We all know Jahlil Okafor is an offensive asset and is a liability on defense. And Nerlens Noel is supposed to be an asset on defense and a liability on offense. But after what he showed me last night and a couple games, why are we still having trade talks with Jahlil Okafor?
Because Jahlil Okafor,
It's not hard to go. It's not hard to help him lose weight and better his footwork. It's not hard to do that. And it's the same way. It's not easy to put muscle on Nerlens Noel and help him better his game too.
Here's the
thing.
Right.
Last night there was only a 2-minute differential between the two players. I think Okafor played 24 and Nerlens Noel played 22.
Yes.
Okafor just happened to manage, was 2 rebounds away from a double-double. 20 and 8.
Yeah, he had his best game of the season.
That wasn't even his best game of the season.
It was one of his best.
It's probably his third best game of the season.
Because this game, like I'm just looking up the Magic game. Oh, Jahlil Okafor, here's his line. 7 points, 3 of 8 shooting, 2 rebounds in 22 minutes.
Who started?
Jahlil Okafor.
Okay.
Nerlens Noel, 10 points, 7 rebounds, 4 of 6 from the field, 22 minutes.
Let me check this out.
I'm just checking out this stats now. I mean, and Jahlil Okafor had a plus minus of minus 14. Nerlens Noel had plus 7. I mean,
That has to be the shot difference.
I get what you're saying with Okafor. Okafor is a good center, and he is a good center. But I feel like Nerlens Noel knows that he's going to be the backup and accepts that he's going to be the backup because Nerlens Noel is not a starting center. He's the perfect complement to Joel Embiid, and everyone has those good games. Everyone has
Okay,
those
so let
bad
me ask you a
games.
question then. Let's just say the Sixers do trade away Jahlil Okafor.
Yeah,
Get draft picks in return, whatever we get in return. Nerlens Noel so happens to be the backup center to Joel Embiid, right?
which is perfectly fine.
Okay. Now, what's the main aspect of basketball? You can answer the question.
Off scoring points.
Who's going to score more points? Score more points than your opponent, right? Right or wrong?
I mean, you also need to defend too.
Yeah, you're right. But, I mean, what does it? How do you win the game?
Yeah, most points scored wins the game.
Thank you. When you take out Joel Embiid, how are you going to get points?
That's where the draft picks come in. You get
Nerlens-
shooting guards around him.
I'm not talking about that because eventually everybody's gonna have to take a break and you're gonna have to put in your second team, your rotation players. Like yesterday, we had Nick Stauskas on the court, not Joel Embiid, Nerlens Noel on the court, Sergio Rodriguez,
who had a terrible night. Sergio Rodriguez was missing everything.
and two other players. Who do you have to score the ball? Who's gonna score for you? I need
True.
you to answer that question. Who do we have to score the ball?
True, you're right.
I need you to answer the question though. Nerlens Noel ain't gonna score you the ball.
I know, but that's where you work as a team and you get the ball movement. Like, have you
having ball movement. We were attacking the basket and you were penetrating and passing the whole game. I went to the game. We still couldn't score without Jahlil Okafor in the game. We couldn't score without Dario Saric in the game, and we couldn't score
Saric does come
without
off the
Ilyasova
bench
on the. Okay, but I mean, they're obviously.
You have Saric on the
worst
floor.
one out of our four big men, I think, is Dario Saric with the attitude that he wants to start when he doesn't even really not understand the full game of the NBA.
Saric is playing great.
He is playing great. I'm not taking none away from him. But why are we
He
going
just
to
had
start
24
somebody?
points.
But why are we going to start somebody that still isn't developed enough to become a starter in the NBA?
Yeah, he's a backup.
But you get what I'm trying to say though?
Yeah.
Why, and then if let's say he does develop to be that NBA starter, and we just don't happen to have Ilyasova no more, so we push him to the 4.
Yeah, him and Embiid would play great together.
Eventually, they're going to need their break.
Yeah, I know. And then by the time that happens, we're gonna have like a Malik Monk. We're gonna have other guys around Noel. I mean,
That are still going to need time to develop.
yeah, I get what you're saying. That
Now,
that lineup right now.
I think this is Nerlens Noel, third or fourth year in the league? No, I think it's his third year in the league.
Yeah, but his first year he tore his ACL and was out.
Yeah, I understand. No, but it'll really be 4 if he would have played his rookie season.
Yeah.
But it's honestly 3 years in the league he's played. Has he proven anything to you yet? He hasn't proven anything to me. On the other hand, Jahlil Okafor, before he got injured last year, was about what did he play? He missed the last 29 games of the season.
Yeah,
so 82 minus 29.
Yeah, he averaged about
17
18 points a game
and 7
He
rebounds a
is-
game.
He is a good center, and
As a rookie.
yeah, I know he is a great center.
Still,
he has great
who
post
still
moves.
to me isn't even developed yet in the NBA. And you still have Nerlens Noel, who's in his third year, still hasn't proven anything. To me, he just stands there like a statue and gets bullied by people like Joel Anthony.
And then the same thing happens with Okafor on defense though. Like I've watched games where like the Mavericks game where what's his name? I don't even know who his name is for the Mavericks. Coming into the game, averages 4 points and 2 rebounds.
I think his name is Sasha Mahiri.
Has
Myri,
16
something
points,
like that.
17 rebounds on Okafor. Again, I respect your opinion because Okafor is a very good center. He is definitely a starting center. But Brett Brown wants to build his team off of defense. And right now, Okafor is just the odd man out. And I mean, going back to that draft, I feel like we got robbed from the second pick. And because we fell to the 3. We should have gotten the second pick, but we fell to 3. And then Russell would have been on our team instead of Okafor.
I don't even want Russell.
I know, but we
Russell's
wouldn't
just
have
another bust.
we wouldn't have this controversy though.
If we had Russell?
Because we would have had Russell, Embiid, and then we would have had Noel off the bench. It would have been fine. And now we have Okafor. Now we don't know which one to pick because in the beginning of the year we wanted Noel out. And then
I still want Noel out.
And then I know, and there's people that agree with you, and then there's people that agree with me that I would rather have Noel only because of what Brett Brown wants. And I mean, you could go either way with this because that's how the season's been. You've had a couple stretches where Noel was out, and then you don't play Okafor, and then we start winning games. Like we won 10 games when Okafor wasn't even playing, and everyone's like, "Oh snap, we need to get rid of Okafor."
But who did we have playing though? Joel Embiid.
Yeah, and then Noel
now that we
off
don't
the
have,
bench.
but now that we don't have Joel Embiid in the game, we're losing. So really though, like you know, we really aren't anything without Joel Embiid.
Think about it. Does Jahlil Okafor want to be a backup center for the rest of his career?
I don't think he'll be a backup center for his whole career, for the rest of his career.
That's why I think because Nerlens Noel knows he's a backup center. Nerlens Noel is not starting anywhere. Like he may start for a team right now because of injury.
Says the same person who literally said he feels like he changes every position on defense. Meanwhile, you just got little boyed by Joel Anthony. That's something I would never get over and never let go.
I know, and I get because I mean you really respect Okafor, and I think Okafor is a really good center. His post moves are really nice, and I respect that.
Okay.
But
I feel like when Nerlens Noel's in the game, we're playing 4-on-5. On offense, we're playing 4-on-5.
And then I feel like we're playing 4-on-5 on defense with Okafor.
I mean, but on defense though, literally though, everything's 50-50. Everything's 50 because you don't. I mean, I could turn around and shoot the ball backwards, but there's a chance that it can still go in.
You can give Okafor to work in the post, man.
Listen, anybody can get work in the post. And B got worked in the post when the first time they played the Heat against Whiteside.
Yeah, I know, and then eventually though he got Whiteside sometimes with some blocks. It's just, I mean, because we know Embiid's the starter. Because I remember before Embiid was playing, people were talking about getting rid of Embiid and starting Okafor. I've had people come up to me and say, yeah, Okafor's our starting center. We should get rid of Embiid. He's never going to play. I said, wait and see until Embiid plays. He's a generational talent. And now we're watching Embiid play, and now everyone's changed. I mean, conclusion is we don't know what's going to happen until it happens.
I feel like the best thing about Noel is that he can run the floor, but then still I just can't think that's the only thing he's good for. Because when we see Nerlens Noel play, what does he do? He sets the screen at the top of the key,
and then
rolls
runs
to the
for
basket, and then gets for a lob.
Runs for the lob.
Then when you see him trying to do post moves,
yeah, I know
he does
it's
the
bad.
dumbest shots ever. Like,
his offense is really bad. But he brings high, like when he's on the top of his game, he brings high energy. Like this game with Orlando, he was on top of his game, 4 of 6.
He didn't bring high energy against the Spurs.
Yeah, I know. Spurs, he was dead. I even saw the game. He was dead against the Spurs.
He didn't bring anything against the Spurs.
But we see, like when we were winning games, he was bringing high energy off the bench to complement Joel Embiid. And now if you're the GM and you get the Pelicans pick, because the Pelicans pick's going to be next year and it's going to be ours. Would you like for Jahlil Okafor? Would you take a first round pick that's probably going to be like lottery next year? Because we're probably going to have 3 first, because the Lakers pick's ours too, and then we have our pick. So we're going to have 3 first round picks next year, like not this coming draft, the draft after. If we trade Jahlil Okafor,
we still might end up getting the Lakers pick this year.
Yeah, I know.
So we really don't know how it's going to go.
We don't know how it's going to go, but next year it's definite. If we trade Jahlil Okafor like the trade says, for a bum center that we're going to get rid of at free agency and a first-round pick, we're going to have 3 picks in the 2018 draft because the Lakers pick is unprotected in 2018. So, like, would you take that deal?
No.
I would take it in a heartbeat.
No, because we've yet to know who's coming out in the 2018 draft. We still don't know who's coming out.
Yeah, you're right.
And honestly, you know, the Sixers have gotten the fans and everybody else to the point where they're winning.
We
So
just
now
won tonight.
we're starting to get greedy now, and we want more wins, and we want to win now.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't trade Jalil Okafor for a future draft pick.
Yeah, I
For the
I
simple
know.
fact, I just don't know who's coming out next year. So
And
we
also-
really don't know who that.
So
we really don't know that.
Some people also say that they want to see how Ben Simmons plays with Okafor and with Embiid, or like how that's going to work too. But Embiid's the clear cut starter.
Listen, I think with Okafor in the game, you can still run the same type of offense you run with Joel Embiid in the game. Joel Embiid is so good on offense, and so is Okafor. The only thing that separates the two is that Joel Embiid has range to him. He was pop up, he would stop and shoot a three.
And the ball. And one thing I noticed that I have a lot of respect for Okafor, but when Okafor's on the floor, our ball movement becomes stagnant sometimes. I'm a big fan of Spurs basketball, and Brett Brown is the assistant coach for Greg Popovich, so he wants the ball to consistently move. It moves with Okafor, but it doesn't move as much as with Embiid, because Embiid can pull up and has the range, where Okafor, like, you're going to give Okafor in an ISO situation where he's going to do a spin move.
But they still do the same isolation that they do with Embiid. You just got to watch the two. You just got to watch. You just got to look at film and see what they do, because they still put Okafor on the left side of the block or the right side of the block with a shooter at the wing, where if that double team comes down, all you have to do is just kick it out. Now, it happened a couple times yesterday against the Spurs. We still just don't have the pure shooters that.
And once the shooters come, then it's gonna be automatic. Our offense is gonna be legit.
So then we put Nerlens Noel in the game.
Again, I'm gonna continue to say it. Malik Monk, we have to get him.
We have to. There's a lot of shooters coming out.
His defense is iffy. Like I've watched him play a couple, like, because they got upsetted by Tennessee.
Listen, I wouldn't even care that the man has bad defense, because his offense makes up for it. So really, and all in all, he could. And hoping Joel Embiid can be fully healthy next year.
I know he better
no
play
setbacks,
at least
and he
75 games next year.
And he doesn't have to. He can play in back-to-back games. That's what I'm hoping from Joel Embiid next year.
Quick question before we wrap everything up: do you think Ben Simmons will play this season?
Yes. I think you have to get him some type of game. You have to get him some type of time to play and see what it's like playing in the NBA.
I agree with what you're saying, but I've heard recently that, like, people are saying, like, based, especially Sixers post game live. I think I forget the girl's name, but she was saying how the process we've done with Embiid, how Embiid sat out a couple of years, Nerlens Noel sat out. Julie Okafor sat out his rookie year because Okafor did get hurt.
But we all knew what was going on with Okafor.
Yeah, but Okafor could have played later in the year, but they chose to sit him out.
He missed the last 29 games of the season.
Yeah.
I don't really think you can heal.
But her argument is, I'm just telling you her argument, based off of what we saw from Noel, Embiid, and Okafor, that they're probably going to do the same thing with Simmons and have Simmons play all 82 games next year with no restrictions. I want to see the man ball. I want to see him play, because our first game coming out of the All-Star break is the Washington Wizards at home. Need Simmons and Embiid, that tag team, to start rocking. But anything else you want to say?
Nah, that's really it.
This is Josh and Dante signing off. Everyone, please like and subscribe. Show friends, family. And this is Swoop Radio signing off.
Swoop!
Swoop!